Thank you, Mr. Chair. In 2017, the Republican theory was cut taxes on large corporations and cut taxes on the profits they make overseas, and hope those companies will put their increased profits into new investments. In 21 and 22, we took a different direction. We invested in the nation's infrastructure. We invested in manufacturing, in industries that are poised to promote good jobs in the future, clean energy, advanced manufacturing, semiconductors, and others. I'm a former mayor and governor, which means I still kind of think of myself as an economic developer, so I'm making pitches all the time to companies about why to come to Virginia. I'm on the phone at least once a week with some company trying to make a pitch. I was on the phone with a company yesterday who's really excited about some of the clean energy provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act and some of the other investments in the infrastructure bill. Talk about these two visions, that, cut taxes and count on companies making more to help grow the economy versus direct investment in infrastructure and manufacturing. It's going to be a great case study. It may take another 10 or 15 years for people to really write the case study, but if I could begin with you, Dr. Clausing, talk about these two visions for growing the economy and growing prosperity for everyday Americans.
Yes, I think when we saw the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act enacted, there was a big debate about whether it would pay for itself, which it didn't, whether it would spur a new renaissance in wage growth and investment, which it did not. There was a lot of evidence that it increased shareholder value in the run-up to the legislation. The stock market soared. It increased buybacks a lot, but there was very little discernible effect on aggregate investment in the United States, and I think that was partly because of the fact that a lot of this tax cut was directed at these excess profits. So when you cut someone's taxes on their excess profits and they have extra money, they're already undertaking all the investments that they thought were rational to take. And so when you look at the benefits from that legislation, study after study has found that it mostly enriched shareholders and it didn't really trickle down to the typical worker. I think the vision of more recent legislation, starting with the infrastructure bill, it was a bipartisan bill, but also the CHIPS Act, which was bipartisan, and the Inflation Reduction Act. These are more about, I would call them a more modern supply side economics, or Secretary Yellen calls it that, so I'm really borrowing that term from her, in the sense that it's focused on really investing in the fundamentals of the United States, focusing on the people, the infrastructure, building up the United States to have those fundamental strengths so that we can compete in the world economy. And to be a fundamentally strong economy, we need adequate tax revenue to pay for these kinds of investments, which I think Mr. Hausman pointed to as well. So I think those types of investments are very useful in making our businesses work well if they have the infrastructure and the human capital that they need.
This is not good news because insurance rates across the United States are beginning to soar to new record highs. It is now more expensive for Americans to own a car than ever before. But Congress says it's ready to help. House lawmakers have just advanced a $78 billion tax break bill that could financially benefit millions of households. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. So friends, according to Yahoo News, lawmakers advance a bill to enhance tax breaks for businesses and low-income families. This in a strong show of bipartisan support for the largely revenue-neutral measure. The House of Representatives Ways and Means Committee approved the measure in a 40-3 vote, just 3 days after its Republican chairman announced a deal with his Democratic Senate counterpart. The Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act of 2024 would increase the child tax credit. It would also restore the full value of declining business tax deductions for investments in research, development, and equipment. The changes would be effective through 2025, which is when Republicans passed tax cuts for individuals expire. Congress is expected to embark on a massive tax code revamp that will be hotly debated during this year's presidential election campaign. Democrats have been seeking to restore the full annual amount of a crisis-era expansion of the child tax credit of up to $3,600 per child that expired in 2021. While the business tax breaks were restored in the deal, the child tax credit expansions fell short, reaching only $2,000 per child in 2025. The measure also includes tax breaks for affordable housing and people hit affected by disasters. Republican Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith, a Republican, said the bill contains common sense fixes to the tax code that will rebuild our communities, support better wages, and grow our economy. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Also, friends, according to Yahoo News, American car owners are currently facing the most substantial increase in auto insurance rates in the past 50 years. This increase has prompted some car manufacturers to reduce prices to maintain competitiveness. Tim Zawacki, a top analyst, noted that this level of rate increase has not been since the mid-1970s, with limited historical precedent. Alongside escalating financing and maintenance costs, the overall expenses associated with purchasing and insuring a car have reached unprecedented levels, while insurance rates remain relatively stable from 2018 to 2021. Drivers in Texas, witnessing the nation's largest insurance rate increase, are now facing rates that are 45.5% higher than just 2 years ago. 15 U.S. states have encountered average rate hikes of 30% or more since 2022. Strict regulations governing insurance contribute to delayed response of rate increases to economic pressures. Although auto insurance rates have spiked only in the past 2 years, the inflationary pressure began in 2021, as all expenses associated with car ownership have surged in the past year. Financing costs for the new car buyers have nearly doubled from 2022 to 2023. Auto maintenance costs rose by 7.1% from the previous year. And while gas prices have lowered from the mid-2022 peaks, they still remain above pre-crisis levels. Adding to the woes of high ownership costs, the resale value of vehicles has plummeted significantly in the past year. New vehicles lost an average of over $4,500 in value in 2023, marking a 24% increase from the previous year. So both consumers and auto manufacturers are feeling the impact, with layoffs, production cutbacks, and reduced ad spending becoming common in the industry. The uncertainty surrounding the future of the U.S. auto industry is a great significant concern for analysts, especially as the industry moves away from significant spending on electric vehicles. Well, my amazing and awesome friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you so much for joining me here and for being part of this community. I will be announcing several winners every Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to join these weekly giveaways, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.